Shalom to all and welcome to the Noahide Academy of Israel. As we are about to celebrate Tubishvat tomorrow, I would like to share a few insights on the correspondence of the 7 fruits that the land of Israel is characterized by as we eat them on Tubishvat, the 15th of Shvat, which will take place tomorrow night, and the 7 commandments for Noahides. So let us look into what is the actual relationship between the 7 fruits of Tubishvat and the 7 Noahide commandments. In order to do this, we will look into the book of Deuteronomy, Devarim, chapter 8, verses 7 and 8. Before we actually do that, I want to mention that the 15th of Shvat, Tubishvat, which is Tet Vav, which is corresponding the number 15 of the month of Shvat that we find ourselves in right now in the secular calendar. It is the end of January, the 23rd, which is going to be tomorrow, the 24th of January. We in the Jewish calendar, and of course Noahides, are definitely invited to do so, to celebrate with us the Rosh Hashanah Leilanot, the New Year of Trees, that we celebrate as the new production from the trees will begin tomorrow. The earth is soaked with water and the trees are ready to begin a new production. So first, what are the 7 fruits of Israel that we eat on Tu B'Shvat? On verse 7 in chapter 8 of Deuteronomy, we find the following verse. Ki Adonai Elohecha mevi'echa el haaretz tova, eretz nachalei mayim, einot uteomot yitzim babik'ah uva'ar. In English, we would have, for the Lord your God is bringing you to a good land, a land with brooks of water, fountains, and depths, and emerge in valleys and mountains. This is when Hashem was talking to us, coming out of Egypt, telling us that he was about to bring us to a land full of abundance. If we continue to verse 8, it states, Eretz chita useora vegefen uteena verimon eretz zait shemen udvash. Here, Hashem clearly mentions the 7 fruits of Israel, and in the English translation, we would have a land of wheat, barley, vines, and figs, and pomegranates, a land of oil, producing olives, and honey, which is dates, honey. So here we have the 7 fruits that the land of Israel is characterized by: wheat, number 1, barley, number 2, grapes, number 3, figs, number 4, pomegranates number 5, olives number 6, and dates number 7. So what is the connection between the 7 fruits of Israel and the 7 Noahide commandments? Let us look into it together. Number 1, wheat corresponds to the commandment of family unity. And how does this fruit correspond to the commandment of family unity? As the divine emanation that is connected to wheat and to the commandment of family unity is the emanation of chesed, loving kindness. And the greatest and most appropriate scenario for the revelation of one's loving kindness is within the context of his family. And as it's known, a man has to sustain his family, and he has to bring flour into the house, bread, which is the basic sustenance of a human being. Number 2, barley. Barley corresponds to the commandment of honoring life. The divine emanation that connects barley and the Noahide commandment of honoring life is the emanation of gevura, which is courage and strength. So honoring life is to respect others' life. Barley is generally a food that we give to animals. So it's referring to the animal soul within man that, if not controlled, can become aggressive and violent and eventually transgress the commandment of respecting and honoring life. Number 3, grapes. Grapes correspond to the commandment of honoring others' property. The divine emanation that connects the two is tiferet, beauty and flexibility. This connects to the commandment of honoring others' property, as in order to become a beautiful person in society, we need to be balanced and acknowledge the boundaries of others' property. In the same way that we want other people to respect our boundaries, we also have to respect others' boundaries. So therefore, we have to achieve this beautiful balance. And grapes, as you all know, is the fruit that we use in order to make wine, and this rejoices the heart. But in order that the joy will be balanced, we need to drink with measure. We need to be able to rejoice, but not too much, in order not to overstep others' boundaries. So this is the connection between grapes and the commandment of honoring others' property through the divine emanation of tiferet, beauty. Number 4, the fig corresponds to the commandment of faith and belief in Hashem, the God of Israel, the only God. As you all know, the fig leaf was what Adam and Chava used after the sin of the eating of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So that was the compromising of the faith in Hashem, when we disrespected the commandment of Hashem not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the divine emanation in the soul is, of course, netzach, victory or faith, the perseverance to continue attached to our faith in Hashem, and is expressed by our continuous work in refining our thought, speech, and deed, the garments of the soul. At the instar of the leaf of the fig tree, we was used as a garment to hide the nudity of Adam and Chava. We too also need to work on our garments of the soul, and they are all based on our faith on Hashem, the thought, speech, and deed. Number 5, pomegranates. Pomegranates, and I'm sorry that I wrote grapes there. It's only pomegranates. Pomegranates correspond to the commandment of honoring Hashem. This is established by the Sephira, the divine emanation of Hod, which is splendor and humility. How does a person truly honors Hashem? By fulfilling the commandments. So in the same way that the pomegranate is filled with seeds, so too a person should be filled with the observance of the commandments. That is the way that a person honors Hashem, to perform the practical commandments. And the pomegranate reminds us of that. Number 6, olives. It corresponds to the commandment of respecting animals and nature. This is enacted through the divine emanation of Yesod, the foundation or the relationship. So the power in the soul, as I mentioned, is the power of the relationship. And this is manifest through man's relationship towards animals and nature. The way he handles animals and treats nature manifests very much his degree of sensitivity towards the world outside of him, how he relates to the reality outside of him. And olives in nature are bitter. So often our relationship to the world outside of us is bitter, because we have to transform constantly darkness into light and to reveal the divine intentions behind every situation and encounter we have during our lives. Throughout life, we work on it in order to be able to crush the olives into olive oil and to reveal the essence of the godliness and the goodness in every situation in our lives. That is practically observed by, of course, respecting animals, to be sensitive to animals, not to be cruel to animals, and towards nature. Number 7, dates. And the last one corresponds to the commandment of establishing courts and pursuing justice. This is enacted through the sephira of kingship in the soul. As you all know, a date tree takes 70 years to grow. So this refers to the fact that a person takes 70 years in order to reveal the true kingship in his personality. When Hashem is able to rule all of his thought, speech, and deed, and he is able to express kingship. And that is, of course, ultimately established by a person pursuing justice in the world, which is that which allows everyone to be able to enjoy the true kingship of Hashem. So these were only a few insights into every one of the 7 fruits of Israel and the 7 commandments. There is much more to be discussed, Bezat Hashem, in an upcoming video. Thank you for joining, and see you soon.